Alright. Hey, it's Soul again. I'm gonna be making my second video about Green Bull from the last video. If you didn't watch it, I recommend going to check it out first. Basically, I just went over Green Bull's powers, his overall strength, and put him against other characters, comparing him, just to have everybody get a better understanding of where he's at. But now it's about to get serious because there's some more things I want to go over, and more into his character overall. So sit back and enjoy while I explain Green Bull as a character rather than just his strength. Now, we don't know a whole lot, but we do know enough to know what kind of character he is. Starting with this, all Marines have a different sense of justice, but Green Bull follows Akainu's version of justice called absolute justice. Basically meaning he sees no point in keeping innocent people from getting hurt as long as it means he'll get to his goal. It also means they're willing to take extreme measures just to make sure that the goal is executed and nothing goes wrong. A perfect example of this would be the O'Hara incident, where he killed hundreds of innocent people just to make sure that the ancient world would not come back. And Ibu, the king of the world, did a way more extreme thing, erasing an entire island off the map with an ancient weapon. But that just goes to show you how these Marines really operate. But when it comes to defending the Holy Land and the Celestial Dragons, they'll put their whole entire life on the line just to make sure that nobody touches them, because they see them as gods who the people are not worthy of touching. So when we see the revolutionary come to the Holy Land and start attacking, we see how this is the only time that these admirals are willing to hold back and not destroy the entire land. Which I honestly find really funny, because you're willing to sacrifice any other land and all other people but the worst ones. But it's honestly kind of realistic, so I guess I can't complain. There are some admirals and Marines that don't follow this absolute justice. Like I said, all of them have their own. Especially Kuzan, who left the Marines due to all the corruption. His justice is called lazy justice, and we see him multiple times as an admiral and just in the Marines in general, saving people or just letting them live. And I think this is really interesting because it shows that not all Marines have an evil heart. It just shows that the system is very corrupt and evil. So we first see Green Bull in action when he decides he's gonna go to Wano to capture Straw Hat Luffy. And the reason he's doing this is to earn praise from Akainu himself, who is now the fleet admiral, meaning the Marines genuinely follow his sense of justice. Now, when he did appear on Wano, he literally started getting rid of everybody. Everybody who stood in his path was getting drained to death and getting absolutely destroyed. And this was due to his devil fruit, which allows him to literally drain life nutrients and fluid from your body. He also does know Haki, being armament and observation. And while we don't know how skilled he really is in Haki yet, we know he does have it, which adds to his arsenal. But honestly, I think the Haki's the least of everyone's worries when he can literally manipulate forest, anything that's in a forest. He's a Logia, so his body is made out of those material, like plant material. And I went over in the last video how broken this really can be, but it's really a deadly power. And when he does eventually attack the Nine and Yamato and Momonosuke, we see how his powers are really broken, because he even takes attacks from Yamato. And he wasn't going to back down. He was actually going to try and kill everybody, but then Shanks obviously was there. And like I said in the last video, backing down from Shanks and his whole crew does not make him weak. I find it so dumb people try to say that, like, Luffy at full strength would want to fight Shanks on top of all those people. It's just not logical. It makes no sense. And honestly, he didn't lose to Shanks. It's just he didn't want to fight. And they were never even face to face. Shanks just flexed his haki from his ship. So you can't really say he lost when they never even faced each other. And obviously I don't think Green Bull is beating Shanks, but I just want to make the point that that wasn't a loss because they never even got into a fight. But Green Bull fighting all the people he did even shows us just how strong he is. Until Shanks came up, he was willing to even take down Luffy and his whole crew even if they were weakened. While Green Bull is a character who's willing to destroy anything to achieve his goal, he's not willing to fight an uneven matchup and lose. He much rather back down and retreat. And it's not weakness, it's just logical. Why would you want to fight that many strong people and know you're gonna lose? And anybody will lose to that stack of people, maybe except Emu. But Emu's literally the strongest character in One Piece and the king of the whole world, so that's not even really something to downplay Green Bull about. Emu literally took out Luffy with no struggle at all and was fighting off Loki on top of other people. Emu is just that broken that he could probably face off against some crazy numbers of strong people. And this is the same Luffy who was clowning on the Gorosei. The only reason he didn't beat them is because of his haki not being able to destroy their regeneration. And that doesn't make Luffy weak. You just need like Shanks level haki to do that. We already saw this Luffy fight against both Saturn, one of the Gorosei, and Kizaru, the Light Admiral, which Kizaru was mentally not there, but still you gotta acknowledge strength where strength is. Luffy was fighting both of them at the same time and doing actually really good. And I understand Kizaru healed him, but it doesn't change the fact. And Luffy before this had already fought Kizaru one-on-one during this arc. So Luffy's fighting against a character comparable to Green Bull here. Because like I said, the three admirals, Fujitora, Green Bull, and Kizaru, are all on the same level. The only ones that are not are Akainu and Kuzan. But yeah, you can't really say Green Bull is weak just because he backed down from Shanks and his whole crew while he was fighting the Nine, Yamato, and Momonosuke. Anyway, circling back to talking about Green Bull's character, overall, he's a character who is not afraid to get his hands dirty to achieve the work he's willing to achieve, being destroying a whole island because they pose a threat to the government, or killing a few people just to make Akainu proud. I will say, Green Bull is not one of my favorites character-wise. I just made this video because people like to downplay Green Bull, and I thought going into his character would be nice. Kind of an extension of my last video. But that concludes the video about Green Bull as a character. My next video will probably be about Benimaru from Fire Force or Kaiman from Dorohedoro, just to get more anime covered. Plus, I'd like to talk about how genius Kaiman is as a character. But that's it for the video. If you'd want to see more in-depth anime analysis, like and subscribe to the channel. But till then, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope the video was at least good enough for you to understand.